Let's get money to share, yeah. Stack it up, make Mandela tell us to change, yeah. I'll take them to base, yeah. Touche, yeah. Everything good on my way like touche, yeah. Let's get money to share, yeah. Stack it up, make Mandela tell us to change, yeah. I'll take them to.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Motso. Welcome baholo, welcome to the family. If you're new, please do not forget to comment, like and subscribe down below. To everybody who subscribed, thank you guys so much for your support. You guys are amazing. As you can see from today's video, from the title, it's a story time. I picked up so I decided why not do another story time and share a little with you guys. So I'm gonna give you the tea, so sit down, relax, and I hope you enjoy the video. So today's story time is basically about the first time I met my dad. Yeah, I thought I should share the story because I mean, like, it's kind of interesting. So maybe you learn a thing or two or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, I just thought I should share it. So so let's date back a little. So the story begins like 2014. I was 22. I was 22 that year, and I was back in school, finishing my diploma, my qualification. So 2014 December, I was on Facebook back then. Facebook was still popular back then. So I received an inbox, right? It was like 3 days before the end of the year, probably the 29th or the 30th of December. So I get an inbox on Facebook, I get an inbox from I see the name. Let me tell you, I see the name and I'm like, I've seen this name before, I've seen it. I just don't know where. But your instinct, man, So I see the inbox, and then the person is like, hi. So I'm like, who the hell? So I'm like, hi, and then he's like, how are you? I'm like, I'm fine, Then he's like, I'm fine too. So I'm like, how can I help you? You're an old ass man, what do you want from me? So I'm like, how can I help you? So he's like, do you know, he starts asking me questions. Do you know Mang. So he's naming all these people, and these people are my family members. Then he starts asking me, do you still stay in Dikloof? Mama. I'm like, yes. Like, who are you? How do you know my family? How do you know where I used to live? Like, what's going on? Then I'm like, no, we don't even live there anymore, because I don't want him now. I'm like, no, we don't live there anymore, because I don't know who he is. I'm like, maybe it's a creep. I'm like, no, I don't even live there anymore. We sold the house. We're not there. Then he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, why are you asking me all these things? What do you want from me? Otherwise, I'm gonna block you. Like, what is it that you want? How do you know my family and all of that? Then he's like, no, I'm your father. I'm like, what? No. Stop, Dilori. You're not my dad. I'm like, my father's dead. He's like, no, I'm not dead. I'm very much alive. I'm your father. I'm like, no, you are not my father. My father is dead. So when you go back to the story about about my father being dead, I remember, well, it starts back, I think I was 5. Then I was staying with my grandmother back then. So I remember I would ask her, and then my granny would be like, so I'm like, oh, nigga is a thug. Like, this guy is a thug. I'm not even, I don't even want to know. So no, they telling me he's a thug and he was stealing cars. So I was like, yo, as a kid, I'm like 5, I'm like, yo, okay, and I can't tell people such things. So I just kept quiet about it. But then as I grew and I started living with my mom, now I'm like asking the questions, like, who's my dad? My mom is like, listen, your father's dead, okay, he's dead, and that's that on that. Then I'd like, okay, but be like, okay, cool, he's dead. Then I'd ask again, like, where's his family? Like, I want to know them. Where are they? Then my mom would get pissed, bro. Like, if you ask me about him, I will take you to his family and I will leave you there. So I was like, yo, she's gonna abandon me. How? We can't be having that. So I grew up knowing he's dead, and I never questioned it. I even remember once when I was in primary, I think I was in grade 4. One of my friends, my group of friends at that time, they asked me like, where's your dad? And then I told them such a scary story. I was like, one day my dad was out at sea, you know, swimming, and then he got bitten by a shark. Then later his bones were found. His bones were found at the bottom of the sea. Yo, as I get traumatized, so they were crying. Yo, I was like dead. I got to go. The next day I had to tell them I was lying. I was like, no guys, I was lying about that story. I don't know who my dad is. I don't know. I was just lying. He didn't get bitten by a shark. So I was like, no guys, no, I was lying. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know who my dad is. So yeah, like, so when I think it's about he was dead, you know, then my mom, like, I would ask guys, my mom would like, I will take you to his grave. That never really happened. Then, you know what, eventually I let it go. Now here's this man telling me he's my father on Facebook. I'm like, no, my guy, my father's dead. I don't know, I'm not dead, I'm very much alive. My name is Mang. And I was like, oh, okay, and whatnot. Then we started talking, and then I told my mom, oh, there's this man who contacted me. He's saying he's my father, and I don't understand because I knew my father's dead. Then my mom was like, hey, you know what, I don't want to get into it. If you want to have a relationship with him, you can have a relationship with me. Just leave me out of it, you know. Then I was like, okay, cool. She was like, so there he is. You can have a relationship with him. So I was like, okay, cool. Then we set up a meetup. I told him I was still in the Free State. He's like, when are you coming back? I'm like, no, I'm coming back in January. You see, I'll be back in January. Then he's like, okay, cool. We set it up. We met at my cousin's house, her aunt's house, and then we had like a little meetup there. So I was anxious at first. I was like, I wonder how he's going to be. You know, when you haven't met somebody and then you start imagining this person, putting a character, a person together, trying to figure out what kind of person they are, you know. So I already had this idea, but when I saw him, I was like, oh, this is my father, okay, wow. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Then I met him. Yeah, it was awkward. Obviously, he was sitting on the other side of the room. I was sitting on the other side of the room. We greeted each other. He told me who he was, where he's from, what he does, and all of that, how old he is. He basically told me about himself. Then he asked about me, what's up with me, what's going on with my life, so I basically just broke everything down to him. Over like, I go to school, I do this, I've been living. I basically was trying to paint a picture of him not being there, you know, like for him to understand that his presence wasn't there. It was needed, but it was not there. So he realized, oh, like, damn, like, yo, this person, like, this person has been through a lot, like, and I was actually trying to make him feel guilty as well, where like, you missed out on all of these things, and when I needed you, you were not there. I was trying to make him realize that. And so I basically asked him, like, what happened? You know, that's why we're meeting up. I want to know what happened. Where were you? What happened? I don't know what the story is. And I didn't know what the story is. I was never given the story. So I wanted to understand, besides being told he was dead, I needed to understand the story. So he tells me, oh no, basically what happened was that me and your mom were in a relationship. We were in love. We were together. And then we found out we were pregnant with you, and I accepted. I told her I'll be there for her and I'll support her, and I accepted you. Then there was some festival that was happening at Ellis Park Stadium. So back then Ellis Park Stadium used to have these festivals, and so your mom wanted to go, and I said to her, no, we shouldn't go, maybe we should sit this one out given the situation. Then my mom ended up going. So I later then found out that she actually went with her sister, with my aunt. So this pissed him off because they had agreed. This is what he tells me. It pissed him off that they had agreed that they were both not going to go, and then he finds out that she went, and how he found out was some guy that was there that he knows saw my mom, and he even later said that he saw my mom with her ex. So that pissed him off, and then he was like, I'm going to get back at her. And in return, the way he got back at her was the day they had to now when they had to come to the house. So basically what happens in our African culture, when you've impregnated somebody, their family has to come to your family and say, okay, here's our child. She says she's pregnant and she says it's your son. Is this true? Do you take the responsibility, yes or no? And that's that. And then the families agree on whatever they agree on to pay damages and whatnot, and then going forward everything is sorted out. So he was like, I'm gonna get back at her when they come. I'm not even going to be there. So he wasn't there. So they set a date, they went to his house, and apparently he wasn't there, and they were calling him, they were telling him they were telling my family, that my mom's family, that he's been gone, and he knew this was supposed to be happening. And then they called him like, how you knew this was happening, what's going on and whatnot. And then he basically told them that the person who was there was standing in for him was my grandmother, his mother's sister, and she basically he said that it's not his child, and you guys should go habo mang mang kiena ntatongwana. So you can imagine that, like, obviously I would also tell my child, oh, he's dead. Like, how could you? So that's betrayal on another level. So I can only imagine. I don't blame my mom for telling me he's dead. I don't. You know, it must have been the most painful thing ever to go through, knowing that you were in love with this person, you had a relationship, and then they turn on you, you know, just because I went to a festival. So that's what he said to me. And he was like, yeah, so that's what I did to hurt her. I denied you. And ever since, I just remember just looking at this man like, are you serious right now? For a party, for a festival, are you serious? Like, are you serious? And he was like, yes, and I've regretted it ever since. And I was like, if you regretted it, where were you? Where did your regret get you? Why didn't you try and make amends? You know, she was so much younger than you, and you let her down. She trusted you, she thought you were in a relationship with her, and then you let her down. How could you? And now he's telling her, even the guy now that he's now being told he's the father, he was shocked. He ended up coming to him like, how, dude, you took her from me, you dated her, now you're saying it's my baby, how? And he was just like, yeah, whatever. But he knew the truth all along. So I don't know if that made me, you know, I was happy that he was honest with me, because I told him from the beginning, if you're going to lie and sugarcoat things for me, I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me anything, because it's pointless. What we're doing is pointless. You are going to tell me the truth or nothing at all. And he told me the truth. I said I was happy that he told me the truth, but I told him I was very disappointed, because in the end, not only did my mom suffer, but I ended up suffering because of his negligence, because of his arrogance, because of his selfishness. I ended up suffering, you know. If that's your person, you love them, why don't you talk to them after? But I said, because you're pregnant, why did you go without me? We had an agreement. How can you be so spiteful over going to a festival? You know, a soul that knows absolutely nothing, doesn't know about where you met, how you fell in love, and the soul now has to pay the price. I do feel like I paid a price because at some point I felt like maybe whatever situations or issues I was having with my mom was also because of the anger she has towards him. You know, it's like I was held ransom at someone else's expense because of his behavior, and that wasn't fair on me. I didn't know anything, so I felt like that. I really felt like that because I just didn't understand. And I told him, I don't think you realize how much hurt you have put on my life, on me, on my soul. How much I've had to carry because of you. You know, you out here living your life. I asked him, like, not once did you think about me. Then he's telling me he had issues. He started having alcohol problem. He became an alcoholic. Blah 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 blah. But in the end, I was just like, I respect that you didn't lie. You don't come here and lie about my mom and try and make yourself the good guy. You owned being the bad guy, and I respect you for that. And I was like, okay, cool. We can try have a relationship, you know. What do I have to lose? That's just how I felt. What do I have to lose in knowing you? You know, what do I have to lose? Little did I know. So we then, after that, he decided to introduce me to his family, so his mom, his siblings, and I met them, and we got along. It was beautiful. For me it was amazing to finally meet these people that I had said, oh my word, I want a relationship with these people. Even if he's dead, where are they? I finally got to meet them, you know. And I got to meet my grandmother, I got to meet my aunts and my uncles, you know. It opened me up to a brand new world, you know. And that's the one good thing that came out of this relationship with my father, me meeting his family. And you know, when you meet new people, guys, it's so difficult when you have been, you know, I watch these shows on Kumbule Kaya and these people who have been missing, and then or moms who've abandoned their kids. You know how difficult it is to come into a family that's already been established, that's been living without you. Then you have to try and fit in emotionally, you know, mentally. It's very challenging because you've missed out on so much, you know. There's cousins there's, you know, that have always been there and you haven't, and you have to play catch up. You have to, you know, you want to be a part, and there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody wants to belong. I'll tell you one thing, everybody wants a place to belong, a place to call home, a place to feel comfortable, to feel sane, to feel accepted, to feel loved. So not to say that I didn't feel loved or accepted with my family, but it's, you know, it's something that yes, like my mom said, I had always wanted to meet him, and now that here's this new world, it does really, you know, affect you in some type of way, because you always ask yourself, you check yourself. You don't want to force yourself too much into them, you know. You don't want to force yourself onto them too much. You don't want to seem like you're also desperate. You don't, you know, but you still want them to like you. You still want them to love you. Imagine having to learn all these personalities, all these people, what kind of people they are, you know, and then they have to learn what if they don't like you? You know, there's so many questions. So I feel like dads or whatever families, there's moms who abandon their children. They rob their children of all of that, you know. He robbed me of 2 decades of memories, you know, of everything. But you know, we all have to start somewhere, and that was the beginning of something amazing, a great relationship, you know. So as we went on, then because it was the beginning of the year, then I was like, you know, I'm also going back to school this year, and I'm having a problem with it's my dad. So I'm like, okay, let me ask him, maybe he might help me. I'm going back to school this year, and now I need a place to stay. I need to find a place. Then I tell him, okay, I have a classmate who's looking for a roommate, who now is my best friend today, Kalalelo. And I was like, she's looking for a roomie. Will you be able to help me with this, because I've got school fees covered and all of that covered, so I just need accommodation right now. Then he's like, okay, cool, let's go check the place out. Checked it out, loved it. He paid the deposit, and he's like, it's not a problem, you can stay here. And he bought groceries and all of that. His family, I think, was also super proud of him, because it seemed like he was stepping up. He was making up for missing out on so much on my life. And I was like, you know, this is this is amazing. Now I'm going to have a relationship with this person, get to know him, he gets to know me, And so he took that on, paid for the place, and we lived there, made sure I had electricity and food. Everything was going well, everything was going well until his family, now he's married and he has other children. So immediately after breaking up with my mom, or abandoning my mom, he met somebody else, married that person, and they had a family. So I was like, whoa, you are fast. Just like that. Because I do know that his child that comes after me is a year younger than me. So he was like quick about it. He just went on with his life. So I'm not sure if he regrets anything. He was just probably saying it, to I'm sorry if you guys can hear that the kids are playing that side. I don't know if he was really sorry or regretful. Those actions do not show that. Anyway, so I was like, you made me suffer. Like, the both of you made me suffer. I didn't know anything, and I suffered. Like, I just don't understand. Anyway, so basically he met the other lady right after my mom, and married her. So to me, I'm just like, wow, that was fast. You move on fast. Like, you don't even waste time, because I do know that his daughter that comes after me is like a year younger. So I was like, you are fast. Anyway, so these people now have my numbers. They are bangwaka. I bampha ditlhapa jalo. Ba ntshela ka ditlhapa. Ke a rwakiwa mo di WhatsApp-ong. At first, I kept quiet, I was like, okay, let me just leave these people, because maybe to them it's still shocking and they don't know, and he probably hasn't told them the whole truth or whatever, because he's hid me for all these years. I kept on continuing, guys. Hey, I just got pissed. Now I'm telling Khali, hey, when I get wakiwi modi WhatsApp board, Khali wabala. I'm like, I'm not keeping quiet anymore. Shoot. I'm getting blamed for the fact that they are starving at home now. All of a sudden they're starving because of me. I'm getting blamed for they don't have things. Everything now he's doing for me, he doesn't do anything for them. And I'm just like, wait a minute. All your life, you've had this person. You've had the chance, the opportunity to be with this person. I didn't. How is it now that you have the audacity to come and blame me that you're not getting the things that you used to get because of me? It's not my fault. You should have that conversation with your father, not with me. You should have that conversation with your husband, not me. You don't know me. You've never met me. So why are you? And the funny thing is, the daughter, she first came onto me as if she wanted a relationship with her sister. So we started chatting and she asked me about my life. Then I would tell her, hey guys. Then she started using the things that I told her. Kanna. She started using them. Konna. Sad user over me now. Say, yeah, no wonder this and this and this. Hey, ke my mom now. Oh yeah. That's why your mother doesn't want you. Hey guys. Then I tell the dad, do you know that like this is what's happening? And he was like, no, I'm not awake. You must know this is what's happening. Lynn Naf said this and this and this and this. So don't be shocked, because they will get to you and say, I've attacked them. This is proof. These are all the screenshots. And guys, I would be with him. You'd come and see me and spend the day with me. And the messages would come. It's like the minute he leaves the house, I can say, he's coming to me. The messages come. Yeah, you think you're better than us. Hey, guys. DNA test. This girl's telling me I must go do DNA tests. How do I even know he's my father? Go tell that to your father. Don't come and tell me that rubbish. Go tell your father that. Don't come and tell me that crap. Go tell him. I didn't go looking out for him. You should have told him, why did he go look for me? I didn't go running after him. So go tell him those things. Don't come and tell me. Guys, drama. Now I'm telling his family, his wife and kids are attacking me. Now they're also mad. Like, why are they attacking you? Who do they think they are? We must have a meeting. We won't be disrespected like this, and they won't disrespect you like this. You see your father, the things he does, he should have taken responsibility from the onset. Now look what commotion this is causing. And I was like, this is not what I signed up for. A few months down the line, he calls me and tells me we should meet up. Meeting, he tells me, oh no, he can't afford anymore to pay rent for me. I'm like, how? You can't afford to pay rent for me, so where are you expecting me to go? This guy, I must go live with his relatives. Also way to go at the back. I'm like, do those relatives know me? Do I know them? So how do you take me as your child and go make me live there? That I've never met in my life. Go outside room. What if something happens to me while I'm there? How are you going to respond to my family? What are you going to say to my family when I get hurt or something happens to me? Are you okay? And then he's like, no, I can't afford to do this anymore. Did I ask you to come look for me? No. So what did you think was going to happen when you meet me? Oh, you expecting to find me ready? I get that's what you guys do. You go looking for your kids once they've made it in life, then you claim them. Once all the work has been done, then you go around and you claim kids that you don't know what they've been through, how they got to where they are. Now you want to reap the fruits. So what do you expect me to do? I'm not moving out. I'm not moving out. Guys, he stopped paying rent September. He stopped paying rent. Moved in Feb. September he stopped paying rent. October didn't pay. November didn't pay. 3 months asapatale rent. What's about hakere modimo? Like, guys, if you don't believe in God, that's cool. That's on you, honey. But the things that I have seen with my life, they're enough for me to say he is alive. I stayed 3 months without paying rent until today. The place I was staying at, they didn't even notice. They didn't even notice that rent was short. Khali's rent money was going in. They didn't realize the other half hasn't been coming through for 3 months. I even moved out till today. Khali's not even living. We finished school when Khali graduated school. Till today. Those 3 months he decided to stop paying. I was living for free at that flat, without them even noticing, picking up. Actually, this room is short. It's like half every month. So, Kadula, December, because I was moving out then, Khali's mom paid the rent, and then I was like, okay, take my deposit when it comes through. And to repay for rent there December. And that's what happened. And I moved out. So ever since then, we had our relationship fell out. I was like, you let me down, I thought you were different and you would change and you were better than this, but clearly you were not ready for me, and you went against your better judgment to find me because you felt I want my child. I don't know what you think was going on in my life at that time, but it is what it is. And yeah, I I'm okay with not having a relationship with him. I remember somebody asking me, aren't you hurt that you don't have this relationship anymore? I'm like, it's for the better. It's better for everybody. His family has peace. There's no homoto in the mix, having to take things from them, and him having to pick between me and them. And then there's peace in a sense. He was never there, in my life for me to feel like I've lost something or there's a void. No, there's other people that played father figures in my life. My uncle was there, my grandfathers were there. So why should I now have to? I wasn't attached in that way, emotionally attached. I was hurt, yes, because I expected more from him, but he didn't give me what I was expecting. So this is what happens. You meet someone, you have expectations, but you must make room for disappointment, because you don't know that person. As much as they're your blood, they're your family, and they could let you down time and time and time again. And I remember the last conversation we had, I told him, like, you disappointed me. You disappointed me to the core, and I'm not hurt, I'm just disappointed. And I thought you'd do better, because seeing that you went out to look for me, you wanted this relationship, but clearly you came looking for me for the wrong reasons, and this is why we are where we are at, you know. So life, and there's karma, and he's gonna have to reap that karma someday, one day, I don't know. But I have no bad blood with him. I sometimes do bump into him when I go see his mom. He'll find me there and he'll act all excited and whatnot, and I'm just whatever, you know. I'm cool, you know, and that's that on that. And I think I'm glad, more than anything, I'm thankful that he introduced me to his family, because now my children have relationships with these people. And like my kids, you know, they know a side of me as well, and they got to see it as they were growing up, unlike me now. I'm only discovering it now. I'm also more than anything grateful for him coming into my life at that time, because during the time he came in, I was going through probably one of the worst things in my life at that time. And God bringing him in to my life at that time was because God wanted to use him to remove me from that situation, because I had no way out of the situation I had found myself in. And him coming in immediately at that time, where I was already stressing, oh shit, like next year it's a new year, what's the plan, what am I going to do, and how am I going to get away? He then came out of nowhere and played that role. He made sure I got out, got me a place, stayed there. Even when he stopped paying, God made sure I was fine where I was, you know, until the very end, you know. And that is also one of the things that I'll be so grateful for. He doesn't know, you know, he doesn't know that he was a savior at that time. He needed to come in and save me. He didn't know, but God knew. So as much as we could have our back and forth and whatnot, he just needed to come in and go again. He needed to play his role, the role that God wanted him to play, to get me out of that situation. And I got out. So because I still today ask myself, if my dad didn't come in at that time, how different my life would have been, you know. So he needed to play that part, and I'll forever be grateful for that. I will forever be grateful for that, you know. I'll forever be grateful for that. So despite everything else, you know, I'm okay, you know, I'm okay. And you know, it is what it is. These things happen, mobupilong. You know, these things happen, mobupilong. Like I said, you always have to have room for disappointment, because people will disappoint you. Don't have expectations on people. Don't put expectations on people, because they will disappoint you. And you learn these things as you go, you know. You don't put everything in, because you get nothing out. So that's just what I've learned, you know. And I am grateful. I'm grateful for God also making it possible for me to know who he is, to finally know who he is, where he's from, his family, you know. Now I have something. At first I didn't have anything, but now I have something. So I'll forever be grateful for that, you know. I'll forever be grateful for that. So I hold no resentment towards him, and I wish him the best in life, you know. I wish him the best in life. I don't know what else to say about him, but that's that, you know. And yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah, that's the story of how I met my dad at 22, guys. Yeah, turning 23. So yeah, it was quite interesting. It was quite interesting. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too long. You know, my story times are so long. Actually, my videos in general, I feel like they're super long. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. And yeah, I'll share some more with you bit by bit. I'll keep giving you the tea. But yeah, that's just how I met him. And you know, it is what it is. Anyway, guys, I feel like I've been talking forever. You know, forever. I'm even looking for my glass of water. But yeah, you know, but anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe down below, and tell me what you think. Tell me your experiences, you know. And also, I just want to say, I remember there was a conversation on Twitter about this whole thing, you know, about women having to make up for the absence of the fathers in the children's lives. You know, the dads will come and make a promise, and then they don't pitch, they don't do what they're supposed to do, and kids are disappointed. And somebody was like, no, why don't you tell them that they were dead and whatnot? And I mentioned this happened to me, and the person asked me, was I angry at my mom? Yeah, at first I was like, why would you do that? That's so weird. Now that I'm a mom, now that I know the story, I understand the situation, I probably would have done the same thing, you know? Like, he's not here, don't just cut the cord immediately. He's not there, he's not alive, you know? And keep it at that. And so I'm not mad at her. I understand, you know, she was young, and what was she expected to do, you know? So yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on my next video. Bye guys.